everyone, it's Sammy from Sammy's Sweet Life, and today we're talking budget. So I meant to do this video at the beginning of the year, and then we never really talked much about what we wanted as far as our budgeting goals. We kind of divide out our tasks. John keeps track of retirement, investing, that type of thing, and I keep track of the day-to-day spending, like the groceries, the eating out, the entertainment, the kids' clothes, the kids' activities, all things like that. So I keep track of the day-to-day, line-by-line expenses. He keeps track of the more like big picture, big ticket items, and we go from there. We kind of split the duties, and he's not a spender. Like, if the kids need something, I'm the one buying it. If we need something for the house, I'm the one buying it. He hardly ever like goes out and spends money. So it's really easy for when he like goes and gets a lunch on his own, he can just give me a receipt, and I can also just go look at our credit card statement or our bank statement and find the expenses and reconcile. So I ended up reconciling everything for January, and it was really, really eye-opening. First of all, the no spend January, complete and utter fail. We ended up spending way more than we should have spent in January. It was a complete fail. Very early on in the month, we had our date night for our anniversary. It was our 10-year wedding anniversary. So we did go out to a steakhouse. It was a big splurge. And then from there, it's just like, we didn't keep track. We didn't stick to the no spend, so it was a complete fail. I'm thinking we will probably try to do a no spend March or April. We are now into February a little bit, and Olivia's birthday's this month, so we're not doing a no spend for February. We still have to buy some birthday gifts. We are going to do a little backyard birthday party with the people we've already been spending time with, so we're kind of potted with a set of people. That'll cost a little bit of money, but yeah, totally not happening for the month of February. But maybe for March or April, we really need to just do a no spend. And I have some things moving forward, how I want to change what I'm doing. The biggest things we went over on were eating out and entertainment, because now we have a babysitter, so we have more expenses in that category. And we just didn't keep track. We weren't really paying attention to how much we were spending. And then the other one is groceries. And you guys know this is like really difficult for me to stick to. I think I was doing okay at it. Then I got pregnant. I didn't keep track that great. We moved. I didn't keep track that great. All heck broke loose with the world, and things were out of stock, and I started panic buying. We also filled up a freezer. We filled up a new pantry. And so I'm at a like plateau with the grocery spending right now. It is more doable for me to keep it at $150 a week, which equates to about $600 a month. That's what I budget for. And so if there's a fifth week of the month, we just have to make it a little bit tighter. And I'll talk about groceries again in a minute. But basically, like, I didn't keep track. I didn't stick to the no spend, complete and utter fail at that. I even bought scrapbook stuff in the middle of January. This is me putting the video up, womp womp, I totally failed, and I'm letting you guys know. It was pretty much eye-opening all the way around. I had put together the spreadsheet and wrote in what I think each category is gonna be, and then I never really went back. I didn't add things as I went, I just did it at the end of January, and it was really eye-opening, like how much we spent. And we did things like we went and got barbecue toys. Barbecue is very expensive. It was like $75 because we were buying like stuff for us, stuff for the kids, leftovers to take home. And yes, we finished the leftovers, we didn't waste, but it's exceptionally expensive to go out and drop $75 2 times in 1 month. Also, we have babysitter expenses. That comes out of that category. A really expensive date night for our anniversary came out of there, and it was just overkill, way more than what I want to do, especially because most of our meals are at home. So like, they both can't be high. We can't have a really, really high grocery budget and a really, really high entertainment and eating out budget, because then it's just way too much spending. And so I'm really trying to rein both of those in. We committed for this month for a specific purpose. We are just gonna eat out 1 time a month and have our 2 date nights, and that's it. So 1 time as a family and 2 date nights. No quick grabbing lunch for 20 bucks here, 15 bucks here. It's just strictly sticking to that. Austin is a great area because yes, it's winter, but we can sit outside most of the time. Even in the worst months, we can still sit outside. So I've been having mom lunches. I plan on putting those in my allowance category, which I'll talk about the categories specifically in a little bit. With my budget videos, I don't talk income, any of that type of stuff. I don't give numbers, but I do give certain category numbers. Like for our groceries, I want it to stay $600 or under. For our entertainment, I want it to be at $500. And I think I had it even higher for January, and we still blew through it. So I think $500 is reasonable. It does cost a lot to get a babysitter for 2 children. So that part is a big portion of that $500 is just paying the babysitter. And then we've had discussion after discussion, sometimes heated discussions, sometimes flat out arguments about the money, because we want to do some stuff to the house, but we don't quite agree on which things are more important, which things should come first. So we had this discussion after discussion about this, about getting quotes for certain things that we cannot do ourselves. And we're also discussing what things we can learn to do ourselves. And that's part where I'm like, well, it's going to cost a lot of tools. We're going to have to rent some tools. We probably won't do it as good as the professionals, but we would save so much money doing it ourselves. Like I told you guys, I want to put in a mudroom. That stuff is expensive, like doing custom woodwork. If we had the tools and we could cut the wood ourselves, we could do it ourselves. Like I could paint wood, it's not that big a deal, but part of it is really tedious. Like you have to measure things, they have to be level, things have to be cut the right way, you have to stain certain pieces, and that's all gonna be stuff we have to learn, we have to get the right tools for, so it's expensive up front, like doing your first DIY project, but after that you can use the same tools, and then future DIY projects are much cheaper. It wouldn't be like hiring a contractor for each individual household job. So we're discussing what tools we're going to get, how much we're going to really pour into certain projects for this year, and hopefully make some of them work, hopefully learn some stuff and kind of grow together and be more of like handy people. Because right now it's like anything I want done, I hire somebody, you know? There's very few things that we've done ourselves. Like we hung blinds and that wasn't Johnny hanging blinds. So it's something that we've just discussed again and again, and I don't know exactly where that household budget is going to be. We have just a blanket like $250 a month for household things. That's things like buying the shelf out there. There's a box on it. I can't show you right now. The grandparents are sending in birthday presents for Livy, so there's like boxes everywhere right now. But things like that, like I can buy one piece of furniture or a couple of things for different rooms in the house with that $250, but that's not going to be like DIY projects. That's not going to be putting in a mudroom for $250 because the tools itself will cost more than that. So we are talking about some of the bigger projects and kind of like mapping it out. So the long story short, this is just kind of a work in progress. Part of the budget is the household part and the home improvement part of it. The groceries, totally me. Like I have to be in charge of that. And I went way over, and it's because we went to Costco and Trader Joe's. And I thought about putting the Trader Joe's into the February budget because it was the night of January 31st when we went to Trader Joe's. I was like, man, this is gonna push me way over the budget, but I just counted it when we actually bought it, so it totally pushed me over. I was over by like $200 almost, so that was really bad, especially in a month I'm supposed to be really keeping track of it, so I have to really limit those Costco and Trader Joe's trips. They're just so tempting, and it's just an easy place for me to totally bust through the grocery budget. So moving forward with the groceries, I have an idea, and we tried it this month and then I went to Trader Joe's and totally messed everything up. But I would have been more on track had I stuck with going to get groceries 3 weeks, and then the last week using what we have, using up the last of the groceries, any recipes I didn't get to through the month, like I bought pantry staples for and we didn't get to, instead of just leaving them in the pantry, actually planning them into that 4th week. And so we've got 3 weeks where I can plan new things, we can get new ingredients, still try to work in and incorporate some of the pantry stuff that I already have and the freezer stuff I already have, but really that last week, just go through and cycle through some older stuff. Like we've got a few boxes of mac and cheese that will expire sometimes towards the end of the year, but I need to make sure I'm using them and they're not just sitting in the back of the pantry, because that's just not a thing I tend to grab anytime. That's a pandemic purchase, so I need to make sure I'm using up those things before they go bad. Definitely that last week of the month, I'm really trying to cycle through some things, and it worked really well. We had some creative, interesting, kind of random meals this last month, and then I blew it by going to Trader Joe's. But without the Trader Joe's and Costco trips, I would have been like $75 or $80 under budget. So that just shows you how easy it is to blow the budget. That 1 extra trip or 2 extra trips just totally blows it for me. As far as the home purchases this month, I knew it was going to be an expensive month because we ended up getting a new router. Our old router, we were just using the one that came with our internet. They provided one. Well, we need one that will go the whole distance of our house. We were having trouble certain aspects, like in this room, I really didn't get a really good signal. So we got a whole home router that covers the whole house, and it was a pricey thing. So that added to it. I also ended up getting new bath mats for all the bathrooms. Our old ones were just getting gross, and I washed them them, and then one of them just started like falling apart, and I was like, okay, they're already kind of nasty and old, we're just gonna buy new ones. So I bought new ones for all the bathrooms, and all the bathrooms have beautiful bathroom mats now, but that was kind of pricey. I also stocked up on soaps because we were almost out of hand soap, and that's one of those things, like if you see it, you buy it. So I went ahead and stocked up on that, and also tissues. We had like 2 boxes of tissues left, and so I just stocked up while I was getting the soap. And as part of the no spend January, I thought I wasn't going to stock up on anything. I just totally disregarded the no spend. It was not even close to a no spend. We did buy lots of things. So this was just a really eye-opening month for me. Up until now, we had hired the babysitter, I think like once in November, once in December, and January was our first month of having the babysitter twice, when we only had the babysitter 1 time a month, doing takeout or eating outside once as a family every week, or getting takeout on those weeks and maybe getting a lunch here and there. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. So we haven't really kept track since moving into this house. I'll be really honest with you guys. We haven't bought anything for the house except the towels that I bought. I showed you guys months and months back. I bought towels, kitchen towels and bathroom towels. And then I bought the shelf for out there and a palm tree, a little like indoor palm tree with a pot. So that was like $60 for the palm tree. The shelf was like $150, but I haven't bought anything for the house. And that's part of what goes into our discussion, because I talked about I'm going to start doing monthly projects. And so we have to work that into the budget. If I'm going to do a project every month, and there's sometimes they're going to be small. It's like under cabinet organization for the master bathroom. That's going to be a pretty small purchase, and I can probably fit that into the $250 easily that I have allotted for the household budget. But some of them are going to be bigger, like in our master closet. That's going to be a lot of containers. It's going to be trying to change one of the shelves, buying some wood to finish off some of the like mid-row shelves. They hang the wires, but they don't give you the actual shelf, and we like to have the actual shelf. It's buying the cutting machinery and also buying the wood and paint and things like that. So I don't know that I can fit that into the budget for just a regular old household month. So some of them will be lighter and they'll fit in the budget, and then some of them won't. Some of them are going to be bigger ticket things, and I need to make sure that he's comfortable with it. We need to talk about what things are priorities so that we get everything done that we want to get done. So it's just a lot of discussing what things are going to come first. And I've said since early on, I think I talked about it in my goals video, we're going to start doing these monthly things in April. After the 1-year mark of living in this house, we're going to start these projects, and some of them are going to be easy. Some of them I won't need his help for, but other ones I will need his help for, and I will need his blessing to blow some big bucks sometimes. So that's just all in the works. We're planning our master closet thing that I plan on doing. So moving forward, I have to be tighter in the categories that I can control. Like, it's easy to just not go spend $75 out to eat. We are sitting outside, and yeah, we're enjoying it to some degree, but we're also taking care of 2 kids, one of them being very small and very toddlery. And that just makes it not pleasant. I'd much rather just stick to the 2 dates, order a takeout once or twice a month otherwise, and call it done, instead of trying to take a toddler out, pretty much. Take a toddler out in the middle of a pandemic, not ideal. So I can definitely control the entertainment section. I can definitely control grocery budget. And now for the entertainment this month, we are going to do 1 pizza outing with Olivia. One of us will take her to go get a pizza, and it'll be like 15 bucks. And then we're going to have our 2 dates for February. Other than that, we're sticking with no eating out. I'll have like a lunch date here and there, but that will come out of my allowance. So it won't be in that entertainment budget, because I ended up getting something. I can't talk about it in this video. I'll talk about it in the March video because it hasn't arrived yet, and it's a surprise for Johnny. So it's something we had talked about. We kind of had picked out a couple of different ones, and I'm surprising him for it to arrive before a certain date. So that is going to come later this week, and I'm sorry to be vague. I'll probably not post this until after it comes, so I'll like put the information down here or on a different screen for you guys to see what I'm talking about. But I can't talk about it right now because he's actually like working in the house. So that is going to use up some of that budget. And then also, hopefully I will cut back the grocery budget. It will kind of go towards that as well. And I went into this month, I kind of had this attitude like, screw it, it's the brand new year. I'm actually excited about things. And I realized something. I had talked about just being in a meh mood, and I didn't realize like being in a good mood, being really happy, and going from feeling meh to good to great would make me want to spend lots of money. I didn't think that that would be a thing. I think I used to when I was really sick with migraines early on, like college days early on. I had a problem spending money because I felt crappy and it gave me a little boost. And it was a really emotional thing. It was emotionally spending. And so it was tied to emotions that way, like, oh, it gave me a pick-me-up. And with this one, it's like, oh, I'm feeling great, screw it, I'm just gonna buy everything, like YOLO. I'm enjoying life again, feeling more myself. I definitely realized that was the case. I started working out. I did the Apple Fitness for 30 days. I'm doing the Peloton Fitness right now with their app. And I'm just like loving life, feeling great, doing the working out, feeling like I'm accomplishing something, seeing my body change a little bit for the better. And it just totally played out in the spending. Like, yeah, sure, let's go out to eat again. Yeah, we'll go enjoy ourselves doing this. Let's go ahead and go to like one of the most expensive, probably not the most expensive, but let's go to a really expensive restaurant for our anniversary because, again, YOLO, let's do it. And wasn't really keeping track. And now I'm like, okay, back down to earth. You can't blow all the extra money. I noticed, and I have to write it in now. So I'm really gonna keep track, write everything down as it's getting spent. I talked about the grocery plan. I talked about the big spending plans. We've got a few. I talked about the mudroom. We also still need to get gutters. We just haven't done it because we aren't sure if we're gonna redo the patio out there. We're gonna extend it out. I got a couple of quotes for that recently, and we're going to maybe do part of it, but it doesn't affect the gutters. If you're putting in a covered patio where they extend your roof line out, that would affect the gutters. And I was like, okay, well, can we wing this project now or do we have to do it later? If we're going to do it at all, we have to kind of see all the budget ramifications of this. And we decided we definitely want to extend the patio. We don't know when or exactly what we're going to do with it, but we definitely want to do that at some point. We're not going to extend the roof line anytime soon. Like, that was a way more expensive purchase than just extending out the patio itself and just having a patio. So we definitely will be doing one at some point. I don't know if it's even gonna happen this year, but either way, it doesn't affect the gutters. So we finally are gonna get the gutters. I just wanted to make sure we researched it before we added the gutters and then had to redo them later. And the patio makeover would go into that. We'd have to get patio stuff. Like, we don't have anything except 2 cheap like lawn chairs and that's it. So we would want to get like a nice table set, maybe a little sofa area, seating area to go on the patio. So this is a really big ticket thing and we don't know when it's gonna happen. It may be this year, may not. We also have a big expense coming out at the end of this month or into next month. We have to do our 1-year inspections. That's a few $100 expense as well. Not as expensive as any of the other things I've just talked about, but still a big expense, a big ticket expense coming up. So we have to be mindful of that. Also, maybe mudroom. And if we maybe do the mudroom, that would involve us doing it ourselves, buying tools, renting equipment to do certain things. And I don't know if that's going to happen this year either, but those are like the main bigger ticket things that we're discussing. We've been getting quotes for some of the things and just kind of researching, planning out. A lot of planning goes into it, but also a lot of budget planning goes into it because those are not going to fit in my everyday month-to-month budget. And so all of that, I want to come back to, yeah, the month was crap. I wasn't pleased with it. We didn't go in the red or anything close to that. Anything related to savings, retirement, health savings, just regular savings goals, that all comes out of the paycheck. And we didn't touch any of that. So we're not going into the red this month or anything. We didn't go into debt or anything. I just spent too much money. That's what it comes down to. I spent too much. And then as far as the month being a crap month, there was actually one really major financial win. We got the house refinanced. So I had looked into this before Christmas time. I had gone back and forth with 2 different lenders and we ended up picking one that had the better rates. They had less closing costs. And we ended up getting a no-cost refinance, which was awesome. It's just such a competitive market right now, and the rates were so good. When all was said and done, we didn't pay anything out of pocket for closing, and now we also save over $200 a month on our mortgage, which is insane. I couldn't believe it was that much. I have another friend who refinanced. They saved quite a bit too, and it's just kind of shocking. Like, I did not realize it would make that much difference. I went into it, we got all the paperwork together. It's like getting a mortgage for the first time. A notary came, they were masked, and they had to sign all the papers one day, and we finally got it completely done. We closed on it last week officially, so we have refinanced. I couldn't believe it, that it was kind of an easy process, although it's like you sign your life away and you have to give them every document you've ever owned. So we finally got that done. We're saving over $200 a month, which is awesome. And part of the refinance is we don't have a payment for February, which is awesome. So it's like a Of course, it's rolled into the back end of our mortgage, so I'm not like, oh wow, free money, but we don't have to pay it right now. So it's awesome. It's like we get a little bit of a bonus because we're not gonna have to pay the mortgage payment. So it definitely helps with the budget, but I still don't want to blow the budget. I feel like everything's going well and we could save a lot more if I was just more careful. And that's really what it comes down to, is like me having to actually be careful and pay attention and not blow any of the extra savings that we could have. And part of that is, so like, if I'm spending $200 extra on the groceries, that's $200 extra I could have put towards getting a patio. And I gotta look at my priorities and decide what's important. Is it really important to get the junk food that none of us need, or is it really important to get the patio? So we have to save up for those kind of things and not blow it on groceries. I'll link in the description box down below the exact spreadsheet I'm using. It's the same one I've been using previously. I really like how I set it up. It was just 2 freebie Excel spreadsheets I combined into one and made work for me. I really like how the categories broke down. I'm using the same categories as I was in the past. I'm just changing the numbers around a little bit and tweaking things a little bit. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Total fail on the January no spend, and moving forward to February, I'm gonna try to do better, get in the habit of using the budget, and it's a bigger step because I've been out of practice at it now for almost a year. I think the last like full month budget I went through was in March as we moved into this house. So I don't think I've kept track of anything since then, but I wasn't really buying a whole lot. We weren't doing a whole lot of shopping, just grocery budget, and that's pretty much it. So it's definitely different when I'm like getting the itch to do things around the house. I want to spend money buying things like the bath mats. I have to keep track and not just buy things and go crazy. So it was definitely an eye-opening experience getting back to the budget, putting the numbers in and seeing where we are. This was part of my 2021 goals, is get back onto a budget. I finally got it done and now we're back on track, and hopefully I'll keep track better. I think it's a good way to hold me accountable. So I might have one of these for you guys at the end of February to let you guys know how February went. I think I'll do these monthly updates just to kind of fill you in, keep me accountable, and let me know what you guys are up to as far as budgeting goals. Are you guys doing any kind of house things? Do you have other big financial goals? That's pretty much it for me. Like, I want certain things done in the house. I've talked about this mudroom before we even ever had a house. I really want a mudroom, and our setup would be perfect with a mudroom. So I'm dreaming of mudrooms. But that's it. So I hope you guys liked it. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, check the description box for everything, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.